Etam vibhutim yogancha mama yo vetti tattvataha so vikampena yogena yujyate natra samshayaha. Bhagavan tells Arjuna that one who understands my vibhuti and my yoga in essence gets established in that yoga of free from all tremors, free from all disturbance, means one gains total identification with God. Na atra samsayaha, there is no doubt about it. So all our thoughts, all emotions, all values, everything emerge from that supreme consciousness alone. All the 7 rishis or the 7 causes of this world and the 4 Sanat Kumar Adi, means the Antakaran Chatushtaya, and the different aspects of our mind, all of them are born from that supreme reality alone. Mad Bhava Manasa Jata. All of them are born from that pure existence, pure consciousness, pure bliss. Sat Chit Ananda Brahma. Everything, whatever we experience in this world, are expressions of this Sat, Chit and Ananda alone. All that we experience as ease. Only the name and form differs, but we experience all this as ease, as existing. Then one is conscious of it. Without being conscious, we cannot experience anything. And we also experience certain level of joy in our experience. So every experience is associated with existence, with consciousness, and with bliss, certain level of bliss. So everything, whatever we experience, is an expression of that Sat, Chit, and Ananda Paramatma alone. So one who follows this path and comes to recognize that truth becomes free from all bondage, becomes free from this samsara. In order to help us to understand that supreme self, our own self, Bhagavan gives some more guidance in verse number 8. Let us chant. Aham sarvasya prabhavah mattas sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha aham sarvasya prabhavah mattas sarvam pravartate. Buddhaha, the wise seeker, constantly worship me, bhajante mam. Worshipping God is to constantly contemplate and think about God. Chintayati. Contemplates, tries to understand, tries to recognize that essence of God. And what is the essence? He says, they contemplate that aham sarvasya prabhavaha, that I am the originator of everything. This world and all the various aspects of this world, the sthiti, the utpatti, sthiti, samhar, plus all various types of karma phala, everything has originated from that supreme reality whom we call Ishvara, whom we call God, what we call Brahma, we call Paramatma. Different names are there. It's called Sat, Ikonkar, Satnam. Omkar, various names are there of that supreme reality. Bhagavan says that Aham Sarvasya Prabhavaha, I am the originator of everything. Prabhavaha, Utpattihi. And Mattas Sarvam Pravartate, and by me only everything functions. By my presence alone, everything moves, everything functions. From me it originates, and supported by me it functions. Everything. The entire cosmos with all the beings originate from me and functions because of me. Iti matva bhajante mam. Thus one contemplates, thinks about it, tries to, with our eyes open also when we look at this world, we should know that it is pervaded by that supreme reality, and everything functions because of that supreme. But with our eyes closed, when we meditate, we have to dive deep and try to identify with the very source of our thoughts, our very being. Because that reality alone is the source of everything. So, iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita, with full attention, with full dedication, with full bhava, wise seeker, they constantly meditate upon me, they constantly contemplate on me. See, in the beginning, our attention may not be on this self. Our attention is all the time in the world. So, when we follow the path of Karma Yoga, slowly and steadily our mind becomes pure. And as the mind becomes pure, our attention goes more and more within ourself. When there is deep sense of peace and deep sense of joy, our attention is more towards our own self. When we are disturbed, our attention goes elsewhere in the names and forms. But as one gains that purity of the mind, gains that peace and quietude, the attention shifts more and more towards the self. So one who, the wise seeker, Bhagavan says, after knowing my vibhuti and my yoga, after listening about my nature, constantly contemplates on me. So that is the path of Vedanta, that is the path of the Upanishad. The path is Shravan, Manan and Nididhyasan. We have to listen about the nature of God, contemplate on it and meditate. Contemplate means think about, think and understand. And once we have understood, we have to pay attention towards this understanding. This understanding will lead to the final experience. Understanding will lead to that state of samadhi or the final experience. So Bhagavan says, the wise seeker, they constantly contemplate upon me, taking this indicator that I am the source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha and mattas sarvam pravartate. This is the hint given for our contemplation. So based on that, we have to think. We have to enter our own within through contemplation. As Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, you dive within yourself through chintanam. Majjata chinvatava atmanishto bhavatvam. By diving within ourselves, by contemplation, you come to recognize your own self. So that is the path. The path is very subtle. The path is very narrow. So one has to follow this path through the process of contemplation, vichar. That word vichar is also very beautiful. it has come from the dhatu of chara. Chara means to move. Chara means to move. Vichara means to move inwards. So with the help of our thinking, we move as though towards our own self. So iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Some more what you call indicators of these great seekers of truth are given in the next verse. Macchitta madgata pranaha bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha macchitta madgata pranaha modhayantah parasparam. Bhagavan says, these seekers, how they are macchittaha. They place their chitta, their mind in me. See, this is for those who are sincere and serious about gaining that state of God realization. Very few people are really interested. Others are interested in just worldly things and all. We have our own problems, financial difficulty or some other parenting, health, other things we might be having. But those who are serious about recognizing and knowing God, then this is the path. See, even in the world, if you want to meet someone, like if you want to meet the president, and so much of procedure is there. Once I had gone to meet the president, so much procedure, you have to go through the security and this and that, and then finally you meet the president. Similarly, those who want to meet the creator, the president, the master of this universe, is a procedure is there. And what is the procedure? It's given here, chintanam. Action, the first step is action. Second step is feeling. Third step is thinking. And fourth step is meditating. Meditation is the final. Meditation is very subtle. In meditation, no thinking is allowed. In thinking, no feeling is feeling. You transcend the feeling. No doubt the feeling is required, but you think very objectively, using logic, using rational thinking. So the path of action is karma yoga, path of feeling is bhakti, path of thinking is jnana, and finally dhyana, meditation. Meditation is a wherein just being is there. It's not an action. If somebody says, please teach me meditation, how to do meditation, that is not. How to do sleeping, you just lie down. Sleeping is not an action. Sleeping is a state which you reach. Similarly, meditation is not an action. It is very subtle. So to begin with, we have to start with karma yoga. Then we have to go into involve our mind also in our sadhana. When we involve our mind in our sadhana, our feelings, then it becomes bhakti. When we involve our intellect also in our sadhana, then it becomes jnana. And further, when we transcend this, transcend the body, mind and intellect, and just remain in the level of being, that is meditation. So Bhagavan says that serious seekers of enlightenment, they become macchittaha. They fill their mind with my thoughts. Macchittaha. They fill their entire mind thinking with my thought. They think about me, they contemplate, they try to understand my nature. Their mind is all the time in me only. They have placed their mind in me. Just like sometimes we ask person, "Tera man kahan hai?" Where is your mind? The seekers are those whose mind is in God. So mad chittaha, mad gata pranaha. Prana also their organs of action, means all their actions are dedicated to God. All their actions are dedicated to God. Prana also means life. They have dedicated their life to God realization, to enlightenment, to gain that final state of realization, which is the ultimate in our human existence. As a human being, the ultimate thing which we can attain is that enlightenment. So one has dedicated their entire life for this. I will either attain that or I will give up my life. That type of feeling. So mad gata pranaha, one whose pranas are totally dedicated to me. And bodhayanta parasparam, and they even interact with others. When they interact with others, they talk about me alone, Bhagavan says. They explain my tattva to others. Bodhayantaha. Bodhayanta means explain or teach or give that knowledge, wisdom to others also about me. It is said in the scriptures that if the path of this enlightenment is tat chintanam, tat kathanam, anyonya tat prabodhanam. That one should think about it, one should talk about it, and one should discuss or explain it to others. See, the best way to learn is to teach someone. And that is what our Pujya Gurudev has, with his kindness, has given to all of us. This great field that you not only learn, but you teach. When you teach, you learn the best. We can learn the best when we teach. And we should also encourage questions. Now I keep on talking, but once in a while I have these question answer sessions. We should encourage questions from different people. Because when a person asks question, a particular window in your head opens up. You start thinking about the same topic in a different way. Because each person has got their own way of thinking. So you may have thought about it deeply, but still you might not have looked at that point from a different standpoint. So when a person asks that question, you can shift your standpoint and think. And the more questions you listen and answer, the more your understanding becomes more complete. So it's a bodhayantaha. Whatever we have understood, we should teach to someone else. And different levels of people who are there, if you teach them, you understand it more deeply. Whatever you have understood, you should be able to teach little children. We should teach them the essence of our scriptures. Many times we teach them all sorts of other things, and then we try to teach them the essence. We should teach them the very essence. Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita should be taught to little children also. They will understand about life, about death, about the eternity of the self. One should be able to communicate to them that the self doesn't die, that the self is same in all, that the self is the very source of this entire creation. We keep on telling them other stories and all, and we sideline the main essence. So bodhayantaha, when we teach others, so these great seekers, they teach each other. Teach each other means not only teach, but you should learn from the other person. Should be able to listen with full attention to the other person and learn from that person. Means from other seekers. So it is said that when a teacher teaches, 25% only we understand in the beginning. If we are a good student, we understand only 25% of what the teacher is saying. Then other 25% we understand when we discuss with our fellow students who have also heard the same teacher. Then more 25% we understand when we sit alone and think about it, contemplate on it. And the remaining 25% we understand after the passage of time. Certain things require time to understand. After a passage of certain time, suddenly we understand, yeah, now I understood. So this is how our understanding goes. So Bhagavan says that you place your mind in me, you dedicate all your life to me and teach about me and learn about me from others. So discuss about me. Kathayantascha mam nityam, they constantly talk about me. They teach, kathayantaha, they talk about my essential nature. Without going into the outer details, they go to the essence and talk about it. The more you speak, the more it becomes clear to you. It's like a joke. Some people laugh 2-3 times on a joke. Once when they hear it, second time when they tell it to someone else, and third time when they understand it. Similarly, if we teach, then maybe we will understand. And that is the idea behind me also teaching, that while teaching you, maybe something I can understand. So it's a very beautiful method. So kathayantascha mam nityam, they constantly, we should talk about it, think about it, dedicate our life to it, constantly be in tune with it. It's a study. It's a path of contemplation and study. And this is the path which is indicated in all our scriptures, in the Upanishads. It is very clear. Bhagavan says they are constantly following this path. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha, they are satisfied in me. They derive great pleasure, great joy in thinking about me, and constantly they revel in me. Ramanti. So this is the path being shown us. They constantly revel in me. They derive great joy in me. Their mind is in me. They have dedicated their life in me. They teach and learn from others. They talk about me, and they are involved in that only. And once we are saturated with this, it said God intoxicated, as they say. But not just with feeling, with thinking, with understanding. It's not just a sentimental thing. God intoxicated means not just some sentimental, but one who is engaged in that thinking, like a scientist, like Einstein, or like some other great scientist. Their mind is constantly in that. And when they will discover or when certain things will happen, they don't know. Like Archimedes. He was having a bath after a long time. And in the bath, actually, bathtub and all, you are very relaxed like. He was thinking about this problem about that buoyancy and all. But there he was very relaxed like. Suddenly that understanding came to him and he jumped out of it. with so much of joy. Similarly, this constant thinking and all, suddenly that flash of understanding will happen. That flash of understanding is called that state of meditation. Meditation is the peak of understanding. Thinking is a process which leads to that, but that meditation is the peak of understanding. And that peak of understanding is equivalent to experience. There is no difference between understanding and experience. So, kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. This is the path. Constantly think about God and talk about Him, learn about Him, teach about Him, and revel in Him and derive great joy in Him. Such people, such seekers, Bhagavan says, don't worry about, oh, when will I get knowledge? How will I gain that understanding? Bhagavan says, don't worry. You just follow this path and I will give you that knowledge. This is the promise. You just create this environment within you and I will give you that knowledge. It's like sleep. We just create that atmosphere and sleep comes. Similarly, create that atmosphere and knowledge will happen. It's like rubbing the wood. This example is also given in the scriptures, that two woods are rubbed to each other and they become very warm and they start giving out smoke and suddenly they catch fire. That fire is totally a different phenomena altogether. Fire is there in wood, but that wood, when it is cold, that fire cannot be kindled. So wood first it should become warm. Then all its liquid and all escape, and it becomes more and more warm. And at a particular time, we will not even know that now it is ready. Sometimes we might know. Zap! Suddenly it catches fire. And once it catches fire, then you don't have to rub anymore. You just sit back, relax, and enjoy the fire. Meditation is that fire. Process of meditation might be rubbing. Many people just rub and just sit, relax, and again next day again they rub. Fire might not be kindled. But if that fire is kindled, then our kaam ho gaya. To kindle that fire, we need proper contemplation, thinking. So contemplation is the process of meditation. Meditation is that fire which burns all the darkness, which destroys all darkness and gives us that experience of enlightenment. And that Bhagavan says, I will give you. That is the promise. He says in the next verse, Tesham satata yuktana bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam ye namamupayanti te tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Tesham, those seekers who are of that above quality, Matchitta, Madgata Pranaha, Satata Yuktanam, constantly tuned to me. Those seekers who are constantly tuned, their physical body is tuned by doing lot of seva of me. Their mind is tuned with that love and devotion for me. Their intellect is tuned to me by thinking and understanding my nature. So they are constantly tuned to me. Tesham satata yuktana. See, as I said about God, the indicators are given and we have to think about it, and the thinking leads to that understanding, and that understanding leads to the tuning with God. We get tuned as though we get connected. We get connected to Bhagwan. We get connected to our own self. Bhagwan means, don't think someone is sitting there up there. We get connected to our own higher self. We get connected to our being. See, all of us are, but we are not experiencing our own existence intensely. That intensity is not there in experiencing our own existence. All of us are. All of you are, na? All of us are. But whenever we are involved in our dreaming or in our perception or something, our attention goes away from our own being. Our life goes by without even experiencing life. We are constantly in some other world itself. So that existence per se is not recognized. Though I am existing, I am consciousness, I am bliss, but I don't recognize my own being. So for that, one has to use this technique which is shown in our scriptures. It helps us to transcend our mind, transcend our body, transcend our thinking, and experience our own self as it is. So Bhagavan says, Tesham satata yuktanam, those who are constantly tuned to me. Bhajatam priti purvakam, those who worship me. Worship here means chintanam, think about me. Contemplate on me. That is the ultimate worship. In the beginning we use, physically we offer something, we offer flower and all, to create that type of feeling in our mind. But the ultimate worship is to be tuned to God, to identify with God, to feel His presence. And that is done through contemplation, by thinking, reflection. So, tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Therefore, Bhagavan uses the word priti purvak, sneha purvak, not for the sake of gaining something in return, not with some ulterior motive, not for worldly or some other purpose, but with intense love for that divinity alone, they contemplate on it. God for God's sake only, not for something else. Enlightenment for the sake of enlightenment alone, not for something else. One doesn't use God to gain something else. Then they are not of the highest type. And generally people do like that. Bhagwan mujhe ye de do, wo de do. Means something else is more important to us than God Himself. But here, Priti Purvak means having complete devotion, dedication, reverence for God alone. Nothing else is there in their agenda. Ananya Bhakti. Priti Purvakam, such dedicated thinkers and seekers, when they are involved in this, Bhagavan says, I give them knowledge. Knowledge happens to them. See, knowledge comes as a blessing of that supreme divinity. Thinking itself is not knowledge. Thinking generates, kindles that fire, that is knowledge. As I said, rubbing itself is not fire, but rubbing kindles that fire. Thinking itself is not knowledge, but that thinking in the right direction creates that atmosphere in our own antakarana, on our mind, our intellect, our heart, that knowledge happens. And how that knowledge happens? Bhagavan says, I give that knowledge. Dadami buddhi yogam. I give them knowledge, buddhi yoga. Buddhi here, knowledge of my own self, knowledge of that essence, that state of enlightenment comes as a blessings, grace of God. Because when one contemplates, one has to then drop the body, drop the mind, drop the ego also gets dropped. Nothing is there, helpless, totally surrendered. In that state, Bhagavan says, I give that knowledge. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Yena mam upayanti te. By that buddhi yoga, they come to attain me, come to recognize me, come to become one with me. This is a path. This is how it is. So, through that process of karma yoga, bhakti and all, slowly one reaches this state and constantly meditates, contemplates, like great seekers of our country, Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi, Nisargadatta Maharaj, our own Pujya Gurudev, Swami Taponji Maharaj, Swami Vivekanandji, Ram Krishna Paramhamsa, all of them, they created this environment within that knowledge dawned in them. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give that knowledge. Yena mam upayanti te. And this knowledge is that by which you come to recognize me. Knowledge means not some what you call knowledge in the form of thoughts. Knowledge means experience only. Experience of the self. Later on Bhagavan will tell that self alone experiences itself. There is no medium, there is no media in between. It is a different state. Its state of enlightenment is a different state altogether. Bhagavan says, as though I gave it. I am the one who dadami, give this knowledge. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. And what is this knowledge? What does exactly this knowledge do? Bhagavan says in the next verse, Tesham evanukam partham aham ajnanajam tamaha नाशयाम्यात्म भावस्थः ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहमज्ञानजं तमः नाशयाम्यात्म भावस्थः. Tesham, to those seekers, Tesham eva, to them alone. So this is the path. Those who have followed this path, to them alone. Eva. Anukampartham, out of compassion for them, I, as that knowledge, destroy their ajnanajam tamaha, the darkness which is born out of ignorance. Ajnanajam tamaha nashayami, I destroy. How? Atma bhavastaha, remaining in their heart as knowledge, remaining in their antakarana, atma bhavaha staha, jnana deepena bhasvata, by the deepak, by the light of this knowledge which is illumined. This is in a poetic way Bhagavan is saying. By that light of knowledge illumined, I, remaining in their heart, destroy the darkness of ignorance. Means there's actually our main thing is there is this ignorance of our own self. I not knowing myself, and I imagining myself to be someone else is called ignorance. Not knowing our own supreme nature and imagining ourselves to be someone else is called ignorance. It's called avarana and vikshepa. Avarana means covering over our nature, and vikshepa means imagining something else. Like the example of rope and snake, not to know the rope is one thing, and to know it as a snake is another. So, non-apprehension and misapprehension, that is called ignorance. And apprehension is called knowledge. So, at present, in the state of ignorance, we have this non-apprehension and misapprehension. I am that supreme Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, that we don't know. We might know from pravachan and all, but it is not experienced. So I am that supreme Brahma, Soham, Soham, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham, that is not known. But that doesn't mean I don't know myself. If you ask me who are you, I will give a big thing about myself. Whatever I tell about myself is an imaginary personality created temporarily because of the body, mind, thinking, my memories. That personality is created. That is called vikshepa, that is an imaginary personality, not the real. It's like the snake on the rope. But the snake exists for a long time. So whatever I know, whatever you know about yourself is just a temporary imaginary personality. Just as in a dream, if you become a king or a queen in your dream, throughout the dream's period you will remain a king unless there is some election and all, or there is agitation. Millions of people want you to step down. Otherwise, you remain a king in your dream. Its reality as though seems to be lasting in the dream, but when you wake up, it just disappears. You don't even know. It just disappears somewhere. You are there, but that king disappears. Similarly, at present, whatever you think you are, with the death of the body, that disappears, and some other personality rises. But as long as this body is there, it continues to exist. I am so and so, born at such and such place. That is what I studied. These are my parents. This is my Facebook. All these things remain. But once the body is dropped, you cannot go online and change your status. Now I am getting boiled in the refined oil. You can't do like that. You can't change your status. It remains as it is. Similarly, so we have this ignorance about our own self, and we have certain imagination about ourselves. That is called ignorance. This ignorance gets destroyed when this knowledge happens by the blessings of God, when we keep on